It's Q Rose again. We back talking about some sports. We're gonna start off talking about LeBron Raymond James. Last night, he went up 3-0 against the Houston Rockets. They were down, and he put up a clutch performance, man. A clutch performance, man. This LeBron James that we're seeing right now is a Hall of Famer. And when I say he's a Hall of Famer, take the rest of the years away. All the rest of them. If we just get this version of LeBron James at 41 years old, he's still a Hall of Famer. He's, when I talk about best players, LeBron might not have the highest peak, but he definitely has the longest of all-star, all NBA play out of anybody of all time. So it's like at this point, he's outlasted Kareem. That's the only thing Kareem had over anybody is how good he was to be an all-star level player for as long as he did. And so before, the way I see it, before it was Michael Jordan, it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And Mike came in, had a peak that was just unmatched. To this day, the only peak that's anywhere close to it, unless history says something different in someone else's opinion, is Shaq. I mean, you can talk about the 60s Celtics, but nobody's talking about that. The only thing you can talk about is Shaq's peak when you talk about Michael Jordan. And maybe LeBron for a few years doesn't have that, but, you know, I don't know. It looks like looks like he's at the top of the top as far as greatest in longevity. He took the team into overtime last night, and LeBron did what he was supposed to do. He led that team. He was looking like Magic. All them dudes, Magic Johnson. He looking like the best. All right. So shout out LeBron James. If he's not your GOAT, he has to be at least top two. And he's knocking on that door. It's one of them situations where he's just been so good for so long. Even if he isn't peak best, because Mike's peak is unmatched. The 3 championships, coming back, getting 3 more championships. It'll never be done the way he did it. And we're seeing that because LeBron James is as amazing as you can get a player, and he's not touching what was done. So, shout out LeBron. Um, I'm prayers out to Wemby. Wemby, he looked good on the sidelines. He had to sit out a game after falling and having to go through concussion protocols. He fell right on his face. Um, a weird injury, but you can manage that. You can manage having a falling on your face injury. Um, Even if he did get hurt, one thing you don't want is anything legs related. That's number one when you're talking about 7-footers. Most people in general, anything leg related, um, especially his height, is the worst. So he had to sit out, and they still won. Unlike Joel Embiid's team, um, I want to bounce all over the place, man, but I think that's the biggest difference. I didn't know how good San Antonio would be without Wemby. And for them to pull out the win last night after being down 15 at the half, um, the rookie Dylan Harper and Stephen Castle, both scoring 25 plus points. Amazing. Amazing. Um, these guys right now have no fear. Um, I'd be shocked to see them get very deep in the playoffs. As far as, I mean, they young, they young, and usually young players don't succeed this early, but they have everything. They have the talent, man. Their backcourt is good. Their bench is good. Their defense is good. San Antonio has it. So let's see what the Spurs do with it. Because right now, they look like they are the most formidable team, which is weird to say when you look across the board. I mean, Boston is up 2-1. Um, Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown's played well, but I think the biggest takeaway from the Boston Philadelphia series is Joel Embiid is out again. You know, he hasn't played a game. His team is down 2-1, and I just think it's time to pack it up for the Joel Embiid community. Um, for the idea Joel Embiid is going to be anything more than, I don't even know what he is at this point. It's like, should you even play him before the playoffs start? You know, that's how I'm seeing it at this point. You should sit him down till the playoffs start. And he's a career 27 points per game scorer, I believe. So when he's on the court, he's effective, but he ain't on the court. So it's like load management was invented for players like Joel Embiid. So to see them out, to see Max, he tries hard, he's putting up 30 piece. I mean, the rookie, he didn't do well, but you know, him, Paul George, whatever, they're trying their best, and to fall short, it's sad to see, but I don't blame nobody but Joel Embiid's health. I can't even really blame Joel Embiid. It's his health. His body's betraying him. I don't know if that's him, his diet, or whatever. I'm not close enough to his camp to understand or know what's going on. But I know one thing: if Joel Embiid was on that court, I think that Philadelphia will be up 2-1 instead of being down 2-1. So Joel Embiid, get healthy, or else your team is screwed again. Another playoff exit, no rings for you, and another NBA Hall of Famer just because of the numbers that you put on when you was on the court. So we all know the NFL Hall of Fame, NBA Hall of Fame, two different things. You can have this mediocre resume. I guess it's not mediocre. I won't say that. Joel Embiid has an MVP. So it's not mediocre, but he definitely haven't done enough in NFL standards to get to Hall of Fame. NBA standards, he can retire right now. You'll make it. Maybe not first ballot, but you'll get in there. I think there's another game I watched, Minnesota versus Denver. Shout out Minnesota. Shout out Anthony Edwards. I mean, Jaden McDaniels, them, Rudy Gobert. You guys played great. And this series is the one series that hasn't gone the way I thought it was going to go. Wow, Joker is amazing. Is amazing. He put up, 25 again last night, 14 rebounds, or whatever. They don't have enough. This situation, to have on your starting lineup in the playoffs. On your starting lineup, you got Sam Jones, Cam Johnson, Christian Braun. These are rotation players at best. But to have them start in playoff games, it's going to be very difficult to beat a team like Minnesota. Um, and I'm looking at Jokic situation now, like LeBron James situation that he was when he was in Cleveland the first time. The best player in the league, but the organization hasn't done enough to get him players that are going to get him deep into the playoffs. You know that they're doing a terrible job of that. Um, the Lakers, they're up 3-0 and they don't have their two leading scorers of the season. You know, you talk about um, Cade Cunningham falling, and Detroit still grabbing the number one seed. Boston losing Tatum, still having Jaylen Brown to be able to come in and lead that team to the second seed. I think Jamal Murray's a good player. Can he move the needle? It's hard to say. He's not as good as the second guys I'm calling these other lists. I think Jamal Murray is he's a great scorer, but he's streaky. They need more consistency at the scoring, um, or else Jokic needs to leave like LeBron James did. I ain't saying pull a Miami Heat, but at the same time, it's like you can't keep going through these situations where y'all aren't good enough, even though you are the best player in the NBA. The best player in the NBA not competing for a championship is an issue. And while I don't agree fully with how LeBron James made the decision to go to Miami, this is what he was avoiding. Giannis is in that situation right now. It's like, Milwaukee did what they needed to do to get Dame. That's the only difference. Getting a Damian Lillard that was still competing and scoring at a high rate versus when Denver went out and got who? Who's the last notable signing from Denver? Russell Westbrook. In his tail end of his career, if Jokic asked for a trade, I wouldn't even be mad at him if I was the organization. It's like if I was the organization, I'd be like, damn, I knew this was coming at some point. Because I should know it's coming. It's been because I should know it's coming. This has been a horrible display. Last night was a horrible display of basketball. I mean, they're gonna try to put this on Jokic, but Jokic has the most difficult route to get to a championship of anybody. Period. You know, the first round he would have to beat what 4 time defensive MVP, Rudy Gobert. He'd have to beat him out. Like that's your first round. Second round, if you get through that, he would have to play Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs. So this year's defensive MVP, you have to get through that. So 2 7-foot monsters, and then Better's money's on after that. Oklahoma City, you'd have to get through Chet, and then Better's money on it on the Thunder. Even in that situation, not because of Joker, because of the other guys. And then past that, you have to go to the championship and defeat an Eastern Conference team that's likely way more rested and comparative to the battles that had to be done in the Western Conference. It's a different animal, different beast. But when you get to the championship, as long as you get there, things actually even out. No matter how much better the West is, when you get the championship, things even out. We've seen it. So shout out Joker. I personally think they need to sign another star, and by any means necessary. I think Jokic could make anybody work. So I think the focus on team building. I think the focus on building, even though I love the idea of team building, I think the focus on it is a little bit naive. Um, I ain't gonna say naive. I just strategically irresponsible. You got the best player in the world. I think you should get another best player in the world. Jamal Murray is a good second option, but he ain't no Kyrie Irving, and I think that's what you would try to get next to him, like a Kyrie Irving type. He's the closest thing you could think about to it, though. I give Jamal Murray credit. Um, we talking about the draft, NFL draft, real quick. The Cowboys. The Cowboys get the best situation you could think about, in my opinion. I mean, Cowboys need defense. They don't have a top 10 pick. Um, they were number 12. They made a trade, moved down to 11, and they end up getting Caleb Downs, which is arguably the best player in this NFL draft. You got him at 11. Why? Because he plays a position they say isn't at a premium. Well, they got him at a discount, and now he's in a premium situation with the Dallas Cowboys. So, shout out Cowboys organization and Caleb Downs, Cowboys organization for shoot just and part of it was luck. There's a lot of teams that passed up on. I was looking at all the numbers and rankings. Most people have this guy at third best possible player on the board, but people obviously need linemen. When I seen last night draft was about offensive linemen. Um, Everyone got a lineman, and it's weird to see. Cause lineman isn't the sexiest position. Arguably, after the punter, it's probably the least sexy position. Um, so man, it seemed like everybody took a lineman. There was a few people took edge rushers. Um, that first round, you already know who's going number one. Fernando Mendoza. We'll see what the Raiders do. Hopefully, they don't ruin that man's career. Um, so, but the Cowboys are a better defensive team now, and they've turned that Micah Parsons trade into good players. You know, like Quentin Williams and like four other players, including these draft picks. I mean, I think the Cowboys are going to be in a good situation next year. We'll see. We'll see. I think the Cowboys are due for one more big splash, and then they're going to be primed to they'll be primed to make some noise in the NFL next year. So shout out the Cowboys, man. Um, they got a shot just like everybody else. You never know. But shoot, NBA, I don't even know what to think at this point. It's been so much good basketball. Um, I don't care about I don't really care about the Toronto Cleveland series. You know, even though it seemed like they're having a good back and forth, it'll probably be the most even fought series. I know Denver, so Denver, Denver, Minnesota, and this team probably Cleveland and Boston. I mean Cleveland and Toronto is probably the best series you're gonna get as far as like parity, in my opinion. They should be getting it, you know. Oh, Knicks going down 1-2 to the Atlanta Hawks. That's bad news for the Knicks, man. CJ McCollum getting traded to Atlanta for Trae Young. He's now showing his value. He's showing his value, and his value seems to be pretty high. He's a bucket getter. He get a bucket when the team needs him to get a bucket, and that's what he did. And he put the game away. A very close game. Knicks lose by one, and without CJ hitting those clutch shots, they don't win. So I think Atlanta versus New York. I think that's very compelling, and I think it should be a rivalry brewing. I think I would love for this series to go seven, probably more than any other series. Um, and I'm loving the opportunity for Jalen Johnson to showcase what his talent is and why the Atlanta Hawks decided to move on for Trae Young. It was Jalen Johnson, and if he can win this series, they'll be justified. If Knicks lose, it's time to fire some people, man, because y'all shouldn't have been in a situation. Y'all fired Mike. I mean, y'all fired your head coach last year, who got y'all to the Eastern Conference Finals, and y'all choked as a team. It's not wasn't the coach choke. So to get rid of the coach after he helped put y'all in this situation, and y'all in a worse situation now, it just seemed like it wasn't the best idea. Um, but we're gonna keep watching because it's a long series. All right. But shoot, say less. Let's keep Rose.